Hello Wolfpack. I want to talk about my biggest question on the Bitcoin chart that has not been resolved. My biggest mystery per se that will tell us where the bottom would be and kind of ask us the question, well, is the bottom in now or is it in lower? Obviously there's a lot of things that ask that question, but this is specifically it in my opinion. The question is this: are we repeating what we did in 2018 right now in this price action? Or have we already done so? Now, as you can see in 2018, we had a horizontal support zone after the bull market. It actually formed during the bull market. We came up, we reached our all-time high, we came down, and we bounced off of it endlessly for about a period of 9 months, which is a long period of time, of course, before eventually breaking down and hitting our bottom here at around 3K on Bitcoin. Now, we have a similar structure forming here. The question is, have we already seen the drop? Okay, because look, in 2018, we saw one drop. We saw the horizontal support zone. We saw one drop, and that was the bottom. Now, we've already seen a horizontal support zone. This is where it gets interesting. We saw a horizontal support zone at around 28 to 29K here on Bitcoin. We had it during the bull market. We had it during the bear market. We finally dropped below it. We saw a capitulation. We reached the low in June. So the question is, are we repeating what happened in 2018 now, in which case we would see one final capitulation, or have we already repeated it, in which case the bottom would be in and we might come down and retest it? Both of these theories are consistent with the Q4 bottom. Regardless of what happens, they both line up with Q4 bottom, right? Because we could come down, even if we bottom here, we could come down and wick down and then see a top. And then Q4 bottom is still valid, 4-year cycle is still valid as per our predictions. Or we could go down lower, in which case 4-year cycle is still valid. So you can see how it's hard for me to answer this question because a lot of my prediction is based on the 4-year cycle theory. And the 4-year cycle theory and the date range trend that surrounds it, as seen in this chart here, points directly towards the Q4 bottom. So regardless of what happens, I think the bottom will be in Q4. It's just a matter of getting a bit of a consistent answer as to where that will be. And this is the question. I'll phrase it one more time before I try my best to answer it to the best of my ability. Have we seen that horizontal consolidation? Right? And have we already dropped down? And have we already marked where the bottom would be and just need to retest it? Or are we seeing the consolidation now and will we need to drop down one more time to finally mark the bottom? Now, it's not only 2018 that we saw a horizontal bottom formation, right? We saw it also here in 2015. We saw a same level, roughly the same level of horizontal support. It lasted a lesser period of time, with that said, lasted about 3 months. But 3 months is still consistent, it's still significant. We saw one capitulation and we bottomed out. So the same thing happened in 2015. Same thing happened to a stronger extent in 2018. And the same thing is happening here for sure. It's just a question of whether it's already happened or whether it's happening right now. That is the biggest question on my mind with Bitcoin right now, right? And it gets a bit more intense than that. It gets a bit more, intricate than that. And the reason for that being is because we're seeing a very similar structure to what we saw before drop in 2018. This is a chart of the 2018 on the daily chart. This is just where I'm circling over here, just zoomed in. We saw a triangle formation just like this, okay? Almost like a descending triangle. We dropped below it, right? When we dropped below it, we plummeted around 49 to 50%, and that marked the bottom. Guess what, guys? We are seeing a very similar, look at those things, very, very similar. Even the angle of trajectory on the triangle to both the top side and the bottom side are practically identical. We're seeing a very similar triangle formation play out right here. And if we were to drop down, I'm not going to say we're going to drop 40% or 50% like we did in 2018 because the market cap was significantly lower in 2018. But say, I don't know, say we drop 30%, right? Or if that, because we probably drop less than that. It'd take us down to about 12 to 13K region, which of course where we think the lowest worst case scenario for the bottom would be 11.5K to 13K. Okay, so this is where it starts to get a bit intense, right? Not only do we have a very similar consolidation pattern forming, right? But we also have a very similar triangle formation forming. I want to briefly interrupt this video to talk about the BitGet exchange. Now, the BitGet exchange has 5 times lower fees than Binance, which is commonly referred to as the cheapest exchange in the cryptocurrency market. It's also non-KYC or voluntarily KYC, so you can stay true to the fundamental values of cryptocurrency, one of which being anonymity, of course. It's also got a security fund in there, so if you lose your funds by fault of the exchange or by personal fault, you can make a claim and actually retrieve your funds back. On top of all of this, if you sign up using my referral link, you can get access to exclusive discounts and rewards. This is the best exchange on the cryptocurrency market, and I use it personally, and so should everyone at the Wolves of Crypto YouTube channel. Now, if you're interested in actually learning how to trade for yourself, you can check out the Crypto Academy via the website link in the description below. This is a course developed by myself and Megawell Crypto, a 10-unit course taking you through every single step from step 1 to step infinite about how to become a trader. Go ahead and check that out and chuck us an email at cryptoacademycourses@gmail.com and we'll get back to you with the full information and payment information if you're interested. Thanks guys for watching the advertisements. Let's get back into the video. So hey, maybe the bottom is not in yet, right? And maybe the bottom is yet to come, and maybe the bottom will be coming very shortly, because guess what, guys? This triangle formation is reaching an apex, right, on Bitcoin. In fact, is this chart correct? Let me go back to linear scale. There we go. Now we can get it a bit correct. That was actually logarithmic. This triangle formation is reaching an apex on Bitcoin towards the end of October. In fact, on the 31st of October, meaning that this month in October, I've covered this before, we will be breaking this triangle formation. If we break it to the upside, scenario 1, which is, of course, that the horizontal consolidation was here at 28K, and this is, in fact, the bottom, would be valid. And if we break to the downside, scenario 2, which is, of course, we're seeing a 2018 consolidation right now, and we need to see one more drop, would be valid, okay? We're going to find out this month in October. What do I think is more likely? At this point, I'm not sure. Perfectly honest with you, I'm not sure. If I had to absolutely guess, if I had to gun to my head, had to guess, I would say we're going to be seeing a fake out of this triangle. We're going to go a little low, and then we're going to come back up. The market's going to screw everyone over. We'll go back up. So in that way, we would have marked the Q4 bottom. We would have broken a triangle to the downside, but ultimately the drop wouldn't have sustained. We wouldn't have followed through. I think we'll be retesting around 17 to 16K as a fake out, and then we go back up. That's my guess. But the point still stands, right? And I'm not trying, I'm sorry for not answering the question. I can't at this point. We simply don't have the evidence for it. But there's so much conflicting data right now, okay? There's no getting around the fact that these structures are exactly the same. Basically, it's same triangle, same trajectory, same horizontal consolidation, similar time period, right? Almost similar time period. But there's also a few things that say the bottom is in, and some of those things are listed in CBBI, which is kind of like a website that measures all the historical bottoming and top methods all at once, and they're all saying the bottom is very likely to be in here, or very close to being in at least. So that's one thing, right? All the conventional methods for telling the Bitcoin bottom are saying the Bitcoin bottom is basically in, or at least might have been in June, or very close to being in. We also have Q4 bottom as per the 4-year cycle theory, which is saying Q4 bottom, and of course it is Q4. So you can see where it gets a little bit hard to answer, and this is something that I've been consistent with for the entirety of my predictions since November last year. I don't know where the bottom's going to be. I have guesses. My guesses would either be, it's either going to be, this is my guess, it's either going to be a weekly candle at 13.8K close, okay? Or it's going to be here at 17.6K and just retest it. Those are my two guesses. But I can't actually print down more than that. I'm not exactly sure what would happen, right? If I had to guess, probably double bottom, maybe a fake out to the downside. But ultimately, regardless of all that, the point still stands. Those are the big questions. And we're going to try our best to answer those in the future when we get more information of Bitcoin. And guess what? We will have all the information we need by the end of the month. So I'm sorry not to answer the question, but I need to bring it to your attention. It's very important that everyone understands what the big question is for Bitcoin. And that is it. Are we seeing a repeat of 2018? In the final parts of the 2018 bear market like we saw here, and will we drop down? Or are we seeing something entirely different that is just making it out to look like 2018, but we actually just fake out and then go back up? That's the question for Bitcoin. That's the big question everyone should be asking right now. That's the question, again, we're going to try to answer in the future. Sorry I couldn't answer it now, but I have to remain true to my analysis. I have to be honest with myself. Do I have enough data to accurately answer that question? The answer is no, I don't. So let's wait and see what happens. And let's hope we can get some more data as the charts progress a little more. But that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Catch you in the next one. Cheers.